Muzzy and Phone Tap. Who knows what's going to happen in this? Liquid lost 6-5. Show wants the rematch. Last time they played on ESL, Show wants the rematch. He said earlier today he's got his rematch. And Liquid won 6-5 twice in a row in this tournament so far, with both times being a long way out of it and looking like they were going to lose.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm excited for this. And one of those reasons is that over the last 2 days, I haven't had a chance to cast Liquid yet. This will be the first time I casted them. So
expect them to go 5-2 behind, come back and win. They're 5-2 behind in the first, 6-5 in that one. And then in the second round, the same thing again. They were 5-3 down, but with a really, really unfavoured matchup against F2K's Druid in the Druid mirror. But F2K's Druid was not a real Druid. It was an anti-Druid Druid. And they took that down as well. So Complexity and F2K being victims here.
The Druid was the MVP in that last series for Fate to Karma, but we are actually straight in the game here. It's going to be Phone Tap's Hunter versus Naria's Paladin.
Yeah, there's a matchup that I don't know a huge amount about, but I would fancy that the Paladin has got a good chance here. That being said, Phone Tap has got an incredible looking starting hand.
I agree with you. Again, it's not a matchup I know very well, but it feels as though the Paladin just eventually wins this. I guess it depends how aggressively the Hunter can take the board. Cards like Savannah Highmane could be huge, or they could just end up being Outdoor Peacekeeper. I think one of the main points here, though, is that the Paladin's board clears are going to struggle with all of the Death Rattle minions that the Hunter has.
Yeah, that's right. Things like Doomsayer become a lot less effective when things just jump back to life as soon as you kill them. And this is a hand that you definitely want. Camel's going to be good in this. I can't think of a one-drop in the other deck unless they play a Mistress. They may play one Mistress, actually.
The other thing is that this was the Hunter, if I remember rightly, this was the Hunter that ran N'Zoth.
Oh, okay.
And I think I want to say anything can happen is probably a slightly better. There it is. It's probably a slightly better 10-drop than N'Zoth.
It is, but N'Zoth's easier to activate. So the Murlocs are kind of very, very situational. N'Zoth just triggers the things you played in the natural course of the game. So that's something to look out for if it does go deep. And it looks like it probably will.
Okay, Bluegill Warrior going to just come up, make a nice little trade there. Or is Naria going to play Doomsday? No, it is going to be the Bluegill. Oh, I keep speaking too soon.
Yeah, let's go and have a listen to what Team Liquid have got to say, because obviously having trouble with this decision.
Yeah, with Solomon, they'll have fun.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. It's just... It's like... It's only bad if they have that Death Rattle card. But they coined it out, so they definitely have another 2-drop, right?
But yeah, now we all play it for free. We can trade the
we even can Vigil, right?
Yeah.
That's
just much better.
Just get wrecked. Get wrecked. I mean, that's kind of expected, what usually people do.
That's why we have an Ultimate in our list.
Yeah. I mean...
Okay. So for next turn... Are you there, Phone Tap?
Yeah. He, Bluegill traded and Solemn Vigil for 0 mana.
Okay,
so...
And we played Camel on 3, I assume?
Yeah,
I think so. Just hang on. Trying to open up Skype.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Playing from a laptop?
Yeah.
So Luminosity having a few communication issues there by the look of things. That could be important as this goes on. Zalay was asking what happened on turn 3, and it hasn't even happened yet. So Phone Tap slowing it down to let those guys reconnect, I believe, to their chat.
It's not nice, is it? This is one of the issues with Hearthstone being an online-only game. Technology isn't perfect. I'll be the first person to tell you that after the last few hours. But it can be very distracting for the other players as they're trying to play these moves, make the best possible plays. But at the same time, they've also got to focus on keeping their teammate up to scratch.
Yeah, and Phone Tap doesn't want to spend his whole time relaying exactly what's on the board and what he's doing, because at the end of the day, if they can't see what he's doing, he's the one who's got to be thinking about the play. So he doesn't want to spend half his time just relaying the board states, and hopefully they've got that sorted in a moment. Nice looking start here for the Hunter, but it's also been a great start for the Paladin. And so Honor's even at this point, but obviously the longer it goes, the more this Paladin deck starts to grind you down.
Yeah, for sure. It has to be said, though, as you said earlier, this is a really strong start for the Hunter. Getting that Cavaldir out as a 2/4 was really nice as well. That's what the Camel is there for, and given the Fiery Bat was already in the hand, it had a very high chance of achieving that goal. It's only a matter of time before Savannah Highmane start coming down.
Yeah, we have seen Mistress and Mixtures in a lot of these Paladin decks, so Luminosity either thought it was necessary to take the chance, or they'd done their homework, one or the other there, depending how much of the Paladin of Team Liquid we've already seen.
Yeah, 5 mana is slightly awkward for this play from Noria. I think this is important. Dealing with Leok feels like a pretty big deal. That gets rid of a lot of the damage.
Yeah, and then they've got to decide. They can't afford to use the Peacekeeper here. They need to save that for Highmane.
Yeah.
And for any other big minions that may appear, like a Tiger or something. This is a very trundling mid-range deck.
Does that mean it's just a hero power? That doesn't seem good. Alright, buffing up and weakening the injured Cavaldir slightly.
Yeah, at least it's challenging it. That's the main thing.
Right.
See, Rat Pack coming out here, and this is going to be important. Can Quick Shot here, if they want to, just take down this 3/4, put in the Fire Bat, get the extra point damage to the face, drop the Rat Pack, and everything looks lovely.
Yeah, the Rat Pack was a really nice draw there, allowing Phone Tap to fill out that curve. Next turn, going to be curving into, well, 2 Savannah Highmanes, one after the other, I imagine. Let's tune in to Liquid and see how they want to deal with that.
Speak to me. Follow the rule.
Yeah, this is really good, actually. Next turn we go Quality Consecrate, then we go Tyrion, then we hopefully win. Well, we know they have N'Zoth in hand.
That's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of spooky. But they played only one Death Rattle, right? Oh no, 2.
To the rat.
I wonder.
But they might be dead till that point. I mean, or it will be irrelevant.
It's scary if they play Hyman here, because then turn 10 is gonna be like.
Yeah, but
disaster.
we can't really do much about it. We have to like race before. Like Tyrion has to do a lot of work.
That injured Cavaldir has seen some shit.
Yeah.
He will see even more. Wait, is there any 7 mana card for Paladin that can be good except Curator? Probably not, right?
Quickly.
Okay, good. That's fine. We're fine with this.
Oh, do they trade?
They're trading because they want to play around quality.
It doesn't actually. It actually is better for us, right? We draw one more card.
Yeah, we do. No, we could have drawn 2 anyways.
We just Eldor and trade.
We
Right?
just Eldor it. Wait. Think.
Yeah,
Okay.
just do it.
Okay. Do we trade off the?
Reporting for duty.
Red pack? No, I don't
No,
think
we
so.
killed the
No,
one,
they
right?
get the 1/1 still.
Yeah, kill the 1/2.
Maybe we just go face, no?
Yeah, kill the 1/2. We want our 1/1. I think this is better.
I mean, the 1/1 dies to.
All right, so Outdoor Peacekeeper ended up being a pretty nice answer. There were some pretty long turns there while Luminosity worked out for certain if Savannah Highmane was what they wanted to do. And it was great listening to Liquid at that time where they were saying, oh, Savannah Highmane would be a little bit awkward, but we can't do much about that. It just goes to show the strength of the card, and now we're going to have to see how they deal with the second one.
Yeah, and Dog doing the work as always. Like, what could be on there? Could there be a Curator? Dog's strength really has been throughout this tournament, picking apart the opponent's lineups, working out exactly what's in their deck as quickly as possible. Obviously, they've got quite a bit of information, but no one's really played much Hunter. So Dog was there digging away, trying to work out exactly how this deck was put together.
This play with this series of trades from Luminosity has made it a very awkward board again, because sure, Noria can play Equality, trade into the Savannah Highmane, and then Consecrate. But then there's still 2 hyenas on the board because they can only kill one set of tokens.
Right.
Actually, just going to go ahead and play Tyrion. They said they wanted Tyrion to do a lot of work. Well, now is the time.
Yeah, double consecration's a thing that might happen in this game as well. It's a good way of killing high main and then killing the stuff that it leaves behind. So that's something they're going to be able to do. And they've got the equality consecration if they've remembered that there's a Nazoth, which I'm sure they have, because that's the key card in this deck. If they keep equality consecration for that, then they should be okay, although 20 health is pushing it a little bit fine.
Yeah, I mean, we both came into this matchup believing that the Paladin was going to be slightly favored, but one of the problems they're having is how clunky this hand is. We can see 2 anything can happens, but only 1 Murloc, I believe, has died, and that's been a single Bluegill warrior.
Yeah, single bluegill, that's what I've got as well, so it's probably close. And yeah, the anything just won't be doing much at that point. Can of course use the weapon to clear up whilst using lay on hands. Luminosity, unless they pick something up, are going to have very little going on. And maybe we'll even see just a single consecration here and save the second consecration for the turn where they need to deal with Nazoth. But they're going to have to heal as well. They might have to just lay on hands here.
Yeah, the single consecration is slightly more awkward now because the Savannah High main dies. While Pyromancer is a pickup there, so we could see at some point Pyromancer consecration and then equality consecration.
Yeah, we may see them hit the high main with their face and just waste the extra damage, and then consecration just leaving up the wolf.
The 3/2, yeah. Okay.
But they're pushing their health total pretty close to death at that point if they do that. This Nazoth's been in hand a long time. They may well think it's a kill command. Quick shot.
They actually know it's Nazoth.
Oh, of course, they saw it from the doofus.
So they know exactly what they're playing around. It's just trying to find the best way to do that, and that's not necessarily that easy. A lot of death battles have died at this stage.
Yeah, it means they're going to have to keep, obviously, back equality, consecration, pyro stuff. And next turn's going to be key.
Reporting for duty.
You're going to have to lay on hands if they... Oh, it's so messy for them.
Oh, there's the kill command. It's getting really close. In fact, it's lethal.
It's lethal,
isn't it?
yeah, that is lethal. It's a beast. I'm pretty sure the wolf is a beast. And that's going to be 1-0 in this final to Luminosity. And Liquid never really got a sort of grip into that one. The curve for Luminosity worked out well. Getting the cow on curve against no mistress meant that the 2-4 Feldia did a lot of work. As Dog says, he's seen a lot of stuff in its life. And yeah, 1-0. And Hunter, anytime he gets a win in this format, has done its job. Let's see if he can get another one down.
Yeah, I mean, I feel as though it got kind of close. Like, given a little bit more time, Liquid may have been able to stabilize on the board there. But like I said, 2 anything can happen. Clogging up the hand with only 1 dead bluegill. That's not a good position to be in, especially when you're against another deck that's just throwing more and more minions and more damage at you. Having to play around Nazoth, meaning they weren't able to play around the burst damage from kill command.
Yeah, and the Paladin bites the dust. Liquid had a disadvantage as well. They put Warrior, Rogue, and Shaman in 3 different lineups. Nyria has admitted that was a mistake.
Yeah.
He didn't properly read the format rules. There's a lot to read when you take in a tournament, and he did miss that. So Luminosity have got Rogue, Shaman, and Warrior all on Zalay. You can only ban 1 class per person, so they only lose 1 of those, whereas Liquid probably lost all 3. There you go. Those bans taking out the 3 best classes in the game, making life difficult for them before they even start.
On one hand, that is quite a disadvantage, but on the other hand, we can see some interesting things. We saw Fate Takama's Warrior didn't manage to pick up a single win, whereas the interesting Druid picked up 3 in the last series. So sometimes the best decks aren't actually the best decks. You expect any Finn Paladin to pick up more wins than Hunter, but on this occasion, the Hunter beat the Paladin. And who knows, we may even see a second one with the Hunter.
May see a second one. I wonder if Liquid will queue their Hunter now. They've taken their spots to queue Hunter into 50-50 matchups throughout this tournament. Just because it's such a bad deck, when do you get a better chance to queue it? But on the
Right.
downside of that, you're giving your opponent a 50-50 as well to get another win with their hunter. It's kind of close which way you want to go with the hunter decks and how you want to approach the fact that it's just so bad.
We have just been informed that it is going to be a hunter mirror match, so you're absolutely right. Called it. It's going to be interesting. I don't remember if Liquid's hunter also ran camel, because this could get
I
interesting.
think theirs is a secret hunter, a very straightforward, kind of boring one from what I remember. Very.
What, with Secret Keeper?
Can't remember if he's got Secret Keeper or not. We've seen Secret Keepers this weekend, but this weekend's been quite a while. So
It's been a long weekend.
I'm almost certain it has Huntress and that going on, and I feel that it might actually be slightly favoured here just because it's got the right pace of play.
Okay, well, obviously Liquid believe that it's slightly favoured because they've decided to queue it against the other hunter.
Yeah, either that or they feel it's just bad against everything, so taking a 50-50 is their best shot.
Yep, use your trash deck to beat their trash deck, and
Yeah.
then maybe beat whatever comes after that.
Nothing I can do, guys. I'm so sorry.
it's
So, interested
okay.
to see
While
how
we're
this
doing
goes.
Talkstone, it's entertaining. I'm sure Twitch chat are enjoying it. They'd probably prefer the cat to cast, to be honest.
Yeah, she can probably have a go at some point and do a better job of world geography than myself. I'm pretty sure of that. But we'll move swiftly on from that. Chat know what happened and see how this goes on. Hunter versus Hunter, as we say, in a lot of ways it's really important because it's 2-0 or 1-1, and in a lot of ways it's kind of irrelevant because the Hunters are expected to lose their other games anyway. But each team will want to win this. Obviously, 1-1 is far much better on the scoreboard.
Let's jump straight in with Luminosity and see what they think about this start.
So
Yeah.
one thing we should think about is, what about Grandma? What about Explosive Trap? What about Freezing Trap? Oh, you know what's great about Double One is it plays around Cat Trick by using our coin immediately.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say that. And Double One just puts like on someone's treasure. Sure, it's weaker to Grandma, but Cat Trick is basically dead for them the rest of the game unless
We
get,
don't-
Animal Companion. But
We have no line that's good against Grandma anyways. Like,
Yeah.
they all suck.
Well, why don't we just Alec against if it's better than against Grandma?
Because
well, we push.
Double
We're
One
still
is-
going to be double oneing after, and we push an extra damage.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, it's not even close. Okay, cool.
look up a Helen Master this game.
Yeah, or like bow just to push as much damage. That's what I
We
want
have a
to do.
lengthy discussion about positioning.
Positioning.
Yeah, it's irrelevant. Oh, that's a stupid meme. I'm sorry.
Yeah, shut up, Zach. Okay. Quick shot. That's good for us. Let's play that out.
Yeah, this went great so far. This is
That's
the dream.
one.
That's fine. Don't care.
Don't care. Yeah. We want the board. No secrets. None of that ish.
And one card
All
behind.
right, let's see a Huffer. Huffer.
So hopefully no Animal Companion.
So what are we hoping to pull from this Barnes?
High main, Clock Huntress is good.
Ninja into all our Murlocs. Right.
That we don't have. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's disgusting.
Clock Huntress is really nice here.
Yeah, yes, Barnes.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's just nothing.
There's no case for anything else.
Tonight,
It's not a Clock Huntress.
What do we
High main.
get?
Oh, wow.
Easy.
Yes. So do we hold the weapon? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hold the weapon.
We don't have any target anyway.
Easy high main from
Easy high
Team
main.
Liquid there.
And obviously, when you're playing a Barnes deck, you do stack it with slightly better pulls, but high main's the absolute best pull, almost always, unless there's like a Ragnaros or something lurking in there. So
It's funny because they were just saying how disgusting it was that Luminosity got camo into Injured Kvaldir. And that was a very highly likely thing to happen.
right, it's like they've got one of each or two of one, whichever.
Yeah.
And they've got the high main, which is far much more unlikely. Oh my goodness, the words.
Far much more unlikely, and probably the best thing that could have happened to Team Liquid from that Barnes.
Yeah, and it is kind of a bit of a break of the rule of the first person to hit with a high main wins the game. But if they can tidy up this turn efficiently, they're going to be on a low health total, but they are going to start pumping out that damage pretty soon.
It is pretty interesting to me that it's the deck that's got N'Zoth sitting in the hand that's being really aggressive, that's had the killer opening. It goes to show that this deck can be pretty versatile.
Yeah, it didn't seem to have anything on 7, 8, or 9. It's just like a whole bunch of Hunter stuff. Oh, and here's N'Zoth.
Yeah.
Maybe to give it a bit of sustain against Reno decks, for instance. Remember that we're at desperation stakes with Hunter. You're trying to find any way to steal some games.
Right.
So you don't have to build a N'Zoth deck. They just probably built a Hunter deck, and you went, you know what? N'Zoth, why not? Gives us an extra 5% luck chance.
What's our late game? Is it Ragnaros? In the past, it was Call of the Wild for a bit. No, let's run N'Zoth. It synergizes with so many cards. And it just works if we get to turn 10. That being said, Liquid have suddenly, in a blink of an eye, flipped this board around.
Yeah, they managed to do a lot of stuff, and there's not much that Luminosity can do. Like, they don't want to use this kill command any place but the face, but they're going to have to kill some of these things. We have seen the Ragnaros come into hand, so there are some cards between the 6 and the 10. And Luminosity have got a lot of work to do here, because next turn, the Tiger comes down before the high main, and that's a lot of damage going into the face.
Right. Yeah, that's suddenly quite awkward for Phone Tap. He doesn't really have a play here. Does he have to use that kill command? What does he hit with it? His Cavalry is going to get frozen.
Yeah, and he doesn't really want to trigger the freezing trap, because he doesn't know if there's another one to start having this weapon get more charges. But on the other hand, what can you do? You've got to do something. You've got to attack with it at some point. And yeah, kill command looks like it's just going to take down a minion. It's
Kill command killing a 1-mana minion, it looks like.
Maybe they'll just stick it in the face. No, they've decided they need to do this.
Oh no.
That's a 14. And the scores are going to be pretty equal in health totals after the next turn. Obviously not quite, but a lot of that deficit is going to be made up considering the fact that all Luminosity have next turn is make high main, which normally you'd be delighted about, but when your opponent's bearing down this much damage, maybe not.
This is like exactly what you were saying earlier. Luminosity had some amazing early game, but no mid game.
Yeah.
And as a result of having no mid game, the control has completely flipped over to Team Liquid, and now they're on the defensive. And I don't even think Team Liquid ever trades here. Well,
do you think your opponent has 5 mana, 6 damage in hand? That's the question. They're showing 8 if you count the hero power. How do you do 6? It might be a number they want to take the chance with.
Team Liquid is 3 off lethal right now, I think. Yeah. So, given how wide their board is, they can probably afford to kill this high main as long as they don't lose too much of their own stuff in the process.
If they do it, they will do it in such a way that next turn they're guaranteed lethal. I just wonder if we'll see this all go face.
There has been a kill command already from Luminosity, so
it would need to be something like Quick Shot and Eaglehorn Bow.
Let's quickly jump into Team Liquid and see what they're saying.
Come, midnight. Flush.
Yeah, we can die to kill command.
Yeah. I mean, they have to have it.
We hit with the bow because we can draw another one. We don't ever gonna use the second charge anyway.
I get what you're saying though. Just trade into the first half. If we traded just into the first half and then left, we reduce damage by 2, right?
I mean, we got only to 2 card combination. No.
Attack face to test the trap.
Yeah.
Is that the way to test the trap?
They're not going to be running snake trap, so.
Yeah, but I mean, we assume it's explosive. Why don't we just find out they have snake in their deck?
No, it doesn't matter. Do whatever.
Go face.
I'm fine.
Play some minions. Like. Okay.
Job's done.
Good talk. Catcher.
Yeah, I didn't really see a way to win that game with any line.
No.
That's why you want to go.
I think the only decision was trading into Barnes, and I don't.
Okay, well, after that slightly rocky start, Liquid were able to turn this around, correctly diagnosing that they were favored with their Hunter and getting a win with it.
Luminosity there showing how seriously these guys take it, though. Trying to work out, they knew they'd lost, trying to work out what the best way was to get more information about what that secret was. So they had more information going into the next game about what was in the deck.
Right. Yeah, it was. I think we tuned into them on a pretty hopeless turn. I wanted to kind of switch over to them and get excitement as they picked up some way of getting lethal, but it wasn't meant to happen. We're now 1-1.
But they still managed to make something happen. They still managed to make a decision about, look, this is important. Do we go face and try and find out if there's an explosive? Do we trade, see if there's a snakes? Which piece of information do we want? They got none of it. It was a cat trick, so they learned nothing. But they spent their time discussing how can we get this little extra tiny piece of information that might help us later on in the match.
Well, they found out it wasn't explosive trap, freezing trap, or snipe because they did then play a Savannah High Main at the end of the turn.
Right, so
it did definitely reduce the amount of secrets it can be. I think that does just leave cat trick and maybe dart trap or something, but it's never going to be dart trap.
Yeah, it's just not going to be dart trap. You're right. And I think they probably already tested for it actually at one point, even by mistake.
Right.
So one game all and still sort of circling. Hunter's beaten Paladin. Hunter's lost a Hunter. Now Hunter will play something and probably lose. And then the game will start as what it will be effectively a best of 9, give or take.
Right.
I'm being
Just
slightly facetious, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a good position for Luminosity to be in because they get to decide now which deck to start with, in theory.
Yes, yeah.
They're going to go ahead and bring Warrior, apparently. That's how they're going to counter the Hunter. And now all Luminosity are thinking is, let's just get as many wins as we possibly can with this Warrior.
Luminosity having the advantage of having not messed up their lineup. So they've got Warrior, Rogue, and Shaman. Only one has been banned. And Liquid have lost all 3 of those. So getting the wins with these power classes, the Warrior and the Rogue, are going to be very, very important.
Right. And as far as this next matchup goes, Warrior versus the Hunter, okay, it's a secret Hunter. It is possible that Team Liquid can do something like Coin, Cloaked Huntress in turn 2, Freezing Trap, Explosive Trap, Cat Trick, and just be like, okay, Warrior, go, play around these. But even so, it just feels like it's such a bad matchup for the Hunter.
Yeah, it's just got so much to do. How does it just stop anything? Like you say, the freezing trap. If there's an explosive trap, that might be a thing. That would be why they went face at the end of that last turn to see if there's an explosive or not. That makes a lot more sense in the hindsight now because they knew they were going to queue the Warrior.
Yeah.
And so just one less chance of it being explosive.
But then at the end of the day, what does explosive trap do? Potentially buffs Frothing Berserker a lot.
Yeah, that's also true. A reminder of the charities that if you do donate to the stream, that is where your money will go. Gaming Aid and Able Gamers, both of which are effectively providing games for people who need them, is the short version. You can read for yourselves the long versions on the screen.
Yeah, children's hospital wings, those with disabilities, you can help them out so easily just with a small donation or a large one if you feel so inclined. Every little helps. It's great. It's a great pair of causes.
Yep, sure is. And talking of causes, this Hunter, I think Hunter needs help in the next set.
In the next expansion, yeah.
It's a good cause. Donate your stats to Hunter because it needs them urgently, and your battle cries.
Donate your Bible thumps to the Hunter.
Okay, donate your Bible thumps to the Hunter. And there is a snake trap in this deck.
Oh, there you go.
This hand, if you're going to try and take on the Pirate Warrior, I guess this is about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah, let's quickly find out what Liquid think of their mulligan.
Yeah, that seems good.
So
We just
because
need
like
Cloaked
if you play Grandmother, it trades into garbage they play into like patches, and then we have Snake Trap to protect.
You guys are so ambitious. Like they're not gonna upgrade their weapon. Oh no.
I mean, they might draw the death card. Like, no.
That's true. I mean,
Ashes.
they're going first, right? So they might not have a good. They get one less card. So
Yeah.
it'll be worse.
Actually, Secret Hunter on the coin is better.
Yeah, significantly better.
Oh, it's happening.
Top deck didn't wreck.
So we stick to the plan. Coin 2 into 2 into 3
Yeah.
into 4.
Now we're still gonna lose. Perfect curve, doesn't matter.
We
We
lose
just play
to
fiery and
Rex.
just kill our guy, right?
Trade, yes. Absolutely double value trade.
Because we want the extra minion for freezing trap, right?
And if he quick shots one, we still want the pirate next turn for the cultist value. So yeah.
He 3-kept with this. That's interesting. So he's got good follow-up. What's his good follow-up?
Another one.
Another one.
Another one. And if he does play the other one, we just upgrade and kill it with our small patches and our upgraded.
Yeah.
It's actually a really good draw. Doesn't matter. The stupid 3-1's gonna live. Oh
They
my
play
god.
3-4 and we lose, right?
They're so bad.
Like, no matter what 3-drop it is, we still lose.
Oh man.
So we have to play like Secret Keeper
Oh
Snake.
man.
Well, at the end of the day, no matter how good the start of the Hunter is, Warrior just has it.
Yeah, Show said it all. It's like, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this, and none of it matters. We're going to lose because the Hunter's had an almost perfect start here in this Warrior deck, just showing what the true aggro is in this day and age. And it's not Hunter anymore, it is just this, I don't know, Pirates, the deck that most people find fairly obnoxious. I don't mind it, I think it's fine, but I think we'll see Small Time Buccaneer nerf sooner rather than
Yeah,
later.
Small Time Buccaneers. Something's going to happen to the card. Even if it's minimal, it will make a huge difference. Whereas Hunter struggles to excel anywhere, Shaman, on the other hand, is excelling everywhere.
Right, and the only question with this one game now is, can they avoid the snake trap? I mean, the natural play here is to play frothing, trade, upgrade your weapon, and just win the game. But the snake trap might just... it wouldn't be even that bad, would it? It wouldn't be good, but it wouldn't actually be that bad. Maybe you just make a giant Blood Cell Raider and go all face.
Frothing's coming down. I wonder if they ever feel the need to check for snipe. Well, it doesn't matter now. He goes with the trade. Now Frothing Berserker's slightly worse, though. It's not going to be buffed as much.
Yeah, well, they're going to do that. That definitely wasn't what they were planning on happening there. So they definitely surprised by this.
Whereas Frothing Finley just feels like a natural play. It now doesn't seem as good.
Yeah, a little bit of wasted resources there because I don't see where they were going to go. I guess if it was anything else, they may have attempted to play the Blood Cell upgrade and just go all face. And even with that going on, it's not made a gigantic enough difference. So they'll be doing the maths on the Animal Companion here. Huffer's obviously good.
Yeah,
Leok's probably fine. And Misha, not so good.
No, Misha just fuels the Frothing Berserker.
Yeah, and you don't want those things to froth any harder than they already are. Yeah, they're just going to take the sensible option here at this Frothing Berserker and take their chance with the rest of the stuff.
The sensible option is exactly what I would call this play. Unfortunately, you're not really dealing with anything else, just the Frothing Berserker, and now Luminosity pick up Arcanite Reaper, meaning they've got all the weapon damage they could possibly.
Right, they've got 20 points in weapon damage, and the opponent's on 20. So all they have to do is make sure that all lands, and they win the game.
Yeah, it's
the way to make it land is to not die. So
you remember when Hunter used to be the class that put other classes on the clock with their hero power?
Right.
Well, Warrior says, yeah, I see your hero power, and I raise you an Arcanite Reaper and your hero power, which I've taken.
Yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous at the moment, and we're going to have just an absurd Hearthstone turn here, where Luminosity put all sorts of damage into face, make a load of gigantic minions, and pretty much tidy up the board.
Well, your Gladiator's Longbow costs 7 mana. My weapons
Yeah, it's
are much bigger than
unplayable. I
yours.
just play them all the time. They're just counting up here whether this point of damage to face is going to be relevant. For instance, their weapon plus 2 hero powers. So that sets up a guaranteed lethal under the most ridiculous of circumstances, like 7 next turn and 2 guaranteed, for instance. And that plays around, I don't know, Swampoos, stuff like that, then taunts.
Well, that's a pretty good play. I approve of Team Liquid's play there. Acknowledging there is no way this deck just does not beat the Face Warrior. It just doesn't.
And we just now know that, right? Like, the Hunter had a hand that's perfectly acceptable and just wasn't winning that game of Hearthstone, basically ever. Obviously, the Warrior got a decent start as well, just to make sure. But it was a forlorn cause, showing why Luminosity chose to queue it. And now we've got the Hunters out of the way. The tournament can start proper.
Yeah, exactly as you said 10 minutes ago. Once the Hunters are gone, the best of 9, I guess, starts.
Yeah, 1-0 to Luminosity because they're starting with the Paladin beaten, and that's that. But Liquid can counter that because they get the first shot at getting rid of the Warrior.
And here we go. So, is it Reno Mage? Is that the instinctive pick?
That's what I would pick. I feel that's what, a good spot to be in. But the problem with the Reno Mage, if you do lose, you do put yourself in a bit of trouble, and it can be countered by Druid very easily if that's not being removed, which it may have been.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's really complicated because you have to ask yourself 2 questions here. It's how much do I want to win this matchup, and how high do I want my chances to be winning this matchup? But also, how important is it to hold on to that Reno Mage? Can I beat the Druid first? Is that possible?
Yeah, they haven't got many good options again because their good classes all got banned. So I feel they may be cornered into having to just counter them as they come. With the exception of the Hunter, which we have seen how they've played throughout this tournament, is find a spot where the Hunter's 50-50 and take a go with it. But yeah, I think we may well see them just have to queue the Mage here into this Warrior, and if they win it, they're in a fairly decent spot. There's the bans. Let me quickly get those. That was Druid, Rogue, and something.
Well, I've got some news for you, Neil, and that is that we're about to see Priest.
Cool.
Priest, which is actually a class that we've seen banned quite a few times. It doesn't quite fall in the top 3. So in the other games where Warrior, Shaman, and Rogue have all been grouped together, Priest has been sometimes the best class out of the group that it's been in, and therefore it's been banned. Like over Paladin and Hunter, for example, Priest gets banned. Whereas for Team Liquid, all of their best classes got banned.
Yeah, Rogue got banned in the Priest, Druid, or Rogue. Just a no-brainer, and so they end up having to play the Priest. But it's worked for them so far. They admitted it was a mistake. We thought it was a mistake. We thought that there'd been an oversight. Noia did come clean in his last interview and say, yeah, no, I messed up. No reason to lie about that, make yourself look good. These things happen in sports, in esports as well. But Dog choosing that this is a good spot for the Priest, and yeah, sure.
The silver lining, of course, for Team Liquid is that they have a 0% chance of drawing patches.
0% chance of drawing patches, unless it's Pirate Priest.
Right. I have seen Pirate Priest once.
Oh, that seems so terrible. I don't even want to go there.
At Legend, it beat me.
Wow.
I shouldn't admit to that.
You lost.
It was Dragon Priest, but just ran patches and South Sea Captain as a start for some reason.
I think, at least when the meta started, when it became clear that patches was nuts, there was no reason not to try it in everything. I know Life Coach was playing patches in Reno Lock at one point.
Yeah.
So, I think you've got to try patches in everything. But now I think we're past. I think you're trying patches in things now. You probably missed the boat a little bit. Okay, Dog's opening hand looks awful.
Tell Jackie that with his Druid.
Sure.
Dog's opening hand is pretty bad, but then he does have the Shadow Word Pain, which could kill off the Frothing.
Yep. If the Frothing doesn't just instantly get buffed the turn it gets played, but yeah, gets a chance. I think that Luminosity will be trying to make it into a turn it comes down.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But there's
feel
nothing
like
to bounce it off right now.
Yeah. Let's join Team Liquid and see what they make of this pretty dire situation.
Maybe it was not the best idea to go for the priest.
Well, the priest like beats nothing else, right? So we're just throwing into the fire,
I mean,
hoping to high roll.
I think Druid and Priest is equally bad, right?
yeah,
No,
against
Druid's
red decks.
better.
Druid is a bit better, yeah.
I think I'd rather play Priest.
Yeah, I guess.
This
They
team
have
has
a pretty
double
good
Argus.
lineup against theirs.
I just don't want to play Druid until their shaman's gone.
Yeah. But they play Pirate War first.
Turns out having 3 patches decks is pretty good, or 2.
It's pretty good.
Do I go face or face?
It's coined 3-3.
Or 3 now, so we can't trade.
Yeah, that's
'Cause I know we have.
play.
It's okay.
So we just play Cabal, right?
Yeah. If we don't get anything.
Wish to live forever.
Lul. So we take
Play.
4 again. They'll probably set up.
They're gonna Frothing and put it at 4 also.
Yeah.
I know that they're going to. They're going to. They're gonna play Frothing right here. They think they're so cool. God.
I wish we had something like Smite.
Yeah, see, Smite's so sick. Alright. Let's rip the one up, Holy Nova. I don't know.
Actually, Smite wouldn't help.
Our options are Heroic Strike, our face in, and then the 2-1, 4-3, and 4-4. Our other option is Naga Corsair, trade. A lot of good options. We had Cork.
So they're going into Blackwing Corruptor is their turn?
Well, if their turn's going to be Blackwing Corruptor, then the Frothing Legends, they're going to be deathing 100% of the time. So how's our board strongest versus the death? Versus that, I kind of like the Corkron since it'll push twice, whereas the Naga Corsair it only pushes 5, and because he's going to Corruptor the turn after, and then we'd only get 4 damage for the Yeah.
It's Corsair is just bigger. There's no reason to go Corkron.
Because we're gonna Cork on next turn. Therefore, the Corsair is attacking 5.
You like this better than Heroic Strike? That's the question.
Yeah. All right, just do that then. Let's do that then. I'm just looking at.
Wait, do I trade with this?
Wow. Luminosity think they are so cool by putting the fucking Berserker at 4 health, at 4 attack.
Yeah, Liquid in very high spirits. Like, we're throwing the priest into the fire anyway, Dog explained. And also, it turns out that 2 patches decks is good. Bit of a pop at Nyria there, who's the guy who did the lineups for them. But it was done in good jest. They've obviously accepted the fact they've had a mess up, and they've won $2,500 if they lose this. They're playing to try and win $5,000 if they manage to convert it into a win. But they've accepted this priest is in a really bad spot.
I feel as though we're timing the player comms pretty well, because the first thing we heard when we jumped into that was, we probably shouldn't have queued priest.
Yeah, I was having a small laugh to myself, and they're just confirming things for us that we thought we knew, and it's really nice to hear that they are thinking on similar lines. But like Dog explained, you've got to queue the priest against something, and this isn't compared to some of the other matchups, this isn't that bad.
I am surprised that there wasn't any talk of Reno Mage whatsoever. Like no talk, because they were talking about the priest and the druid both being bad matchups, but they didn't even mention the Reno Mage.
No, they were talking, I think, in terms of those 2 decks are so bad, we just play them when we play them.
Right, okay.
So they were saying that the priest is bad in their mind, so that they're playing this not because they think the priest is favoured, but because they think it's even worse against some of the other stuff that's coming up.
Yeah.
Now, I may have been trying to, maybe they could have tried to snipe something else, but with Shaman being banned, presumably, I think the Shaman's banned.
Yeah.
What else does the priest actually pick on? Maybe you try and queue it into their priest. But yeah, that was their reason, I believe.
And now Luminosity need to deal 1 more damage. I don't see any way that Liquid survive this.
Can they survive this? Doesn't look easy. By it doesn't look easy, I mean, I think it's possible. Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Velocity 3 games to 1 fairly rapidly as well. A couple of those matchups didn't look particularly good. And Zalay looking pretty comfortable with the situation there as he just finishes off his notes.
So now I expect to see the mage.
Yeah, now I think we've gone through the situation. Like they've shown with their hunter, they queued their hunter into a good spot for it. They figured this was the best spot to play their priest, not necessarily down in terms of winning the best chance to beat the warrior, but the best chance the priest was going to get. Now I think we just queue the mage if we're liquid and see how far we can roll with it.
Right. Which realistically is not going to be that far because of how easily the mage is countered by the druid. Seems to be a huge weakness in that format. I don't think we've seen Reno Mage take more than 2 games in a row at all weekend, just because you counter it so hard, so easily.
Yeah, Luminosity. Oh, it wasn't Reno Mage. Luminosity really wasn't with Reno Mage in one match. And actually, when you were away because of things earlier, we did see Isuba roll through a lineup with Mage.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's right. But that was because Fate Takama didn't have anything left to counter it with. The main counter for Mage is the Druid, and Fate Takama were running their own very different version of Druid, which had already been used up. So that's why, and maybe that's one of the reasons that Fate Takama wasn't able to pull through that series. Maybe we've been failing to realize how important the Druid is in this format.
Yeah, I mean, Druid is a way of keeping the Reno decks under control, and with all the patches decks being banned, the Zigzo meme of, does your deck play patches? If no, play Kazakus. If no, again, give up Hearthstone, basically. Right. Well, you don't play patches, so Kazakus decks are ruling the roost, and yeah, Druid's a way of countering those. And F2K did give that up, and it worked well for them. So, it's not a judgment as such, but it's definitely what they gave up in return for having that Druid deck that's capable of beating maybe Warrior instead. Yeah,
I mean, you could make the argument that because the Mage has to come out here, and we have now had it confirmed that we are getting Naria next with the Mage, but because the Mage has to come out here, then gets beaten by Druid, that's just kind of an even more disadvantageous position that Liquid are in.
Yeah, I think the Druid and Muzzy I just caught there is actually banned. So that makes it a little bit more...
right.
A little bit easier for them, but...
Yeah, that does change things. Because what else is like a guaranteed counter to the Mage?
Priest is pretty good.
Priest was... Oh, yeah, you're right.
But I didn't see if that was up. Priest, Paladin, Hunter... We've seen the play the Hunter. I'm not sure if the Priest or the Paladin is up. I must admit, I messed up my notes slightly there, but maybe the Priest is down as well. Maybe that's their plan, is just ban out the things that can take down the Mage and hope the Mage goes all the way. They're going to have to be inventive. With this lineup, they are going to have to be inventive. They haven't got any patches classes.
Yeah. It's an interesting spot to be in, and I wouldn't even be surprised if they were to lose this, that's what they say was the cause eventually. Starting the game though, Nyria's Reno Mage with the Twilight Flamecaller nice and early, and Doomsayer and Frostbolt, and it's a good hand, right?
Everything you could want, and it's the first time really that Luminosity have missed as much as you ever miss in pilots. If they don't pick up a 2-drop, this is actually going to be a really, really bad start, and the Mage is in a fantastic position here.
Yeah, This is an awkward turn, though, because you don't really want to coin out Doomsayer, but then does it ever proc if you don't coin out Doomsayer? Because this is one of those... Pirate Warrior is one of those decks that rarely lets a Doomsayer proc.
Yeah, I think they must have been tempted to coin it out because they'd been able to play the Swampoos on the next turn and get initiative on the board, but they've been a bit greedy with it, and they've got away with it. They're going to be massively well rewarded here. They're going to be able to do it whichever way they want. Probably... play off curve with a Flamecaller, but there's other options as well.
Yeah, well, it works out. It gets rid of the board. that would have ended really badly for Team Liquid had the 2 1/1 pirates stuck around long enough to be buffed.
What do you do here? And yes, it would have ended up really badly.
Let's jump in with Luminosity and find out.
Sure.
In the 2-1, that's the consideration this turn. If he's able to remove the frothing, then we can play the other frothing and remove the 2-1 health. But what on 3 mana, he can't really deal 4 asides from like Blood Mage Blast.
Yeah, Frostbolt.
So
Is like
is he going to be going Frostbolt would be a play. He plans on pinging it the turn after if he does the bolt. But then he's pinging on 4, which is what we want over Water Ellie. So
we don't bump the 2/2 because he's trading it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Probably using
Do you
my
want to go face for 1 then? Are we going to Reaper on 5?
Not necessarily Reapering on 5. I think it's just frothing. Yeah. I think that's fine.
Mind. We just.
That's easy.
I mean, do we play
Blast
Doomsday?
trading.
I think we Doomsday and play.
Yeah, so we can, that's really good.
And it stalls for Flame Streak later. So.
Yeah, they can't even core clone trade, so they don't develop anything.
They can armor out.
They might develop a weapon.
Then we can always, if they go naked weapon.
So we go for Water Ellie and then.
Using that Doomsayer to force down the Water Elemental against a class that likes its weapons seems good to me.
Yeah, seems like a great start from the mage. Water Elemental does come down uncontested here. Frothing Corcoran Elite on its own isn't going to be able to deal with it. So as far as I can see, we're going to get at least a few turns of freezing the face. That is a few more turns worth of time bought for Liquid to pick up Reno Jackson or Kazakus.
Yeah, they've got the Flame Strike as well, which almost certainly will come into play, which is really unusual. Normally strikes way too slow, but looks like they're not going to be dead in the next 3 turns, although, Arcanite Reaper's 10, if they can get the attack in, which they won't. So, yeah, I think they're going to get as far as the Flame Strike turn.
Looking at this game, by the way, looking at the bans, I kind of realized how vital this game is, because we were saying Druid and Priest are the Reno Mage's main counters.
And they've been banned.
They've
found out. We've just been told.
We have this 100% now. So if the mage wins this, it could actually go on a pretty big killing spree. And getting Finley with Dirty Rat is quite a result.
Yeah, it looks like it doesn't do anything until you actually realise that Finley into Life Tap is one of the ways that the warrior can win this. Finley into Hunter Hero Power is another way it can win it. And those have now been taken away.
Right, and this is actually a very awkward turn for Luminosity.
I think you have to play 2/3 drops, but if you want to drop in and see what they've got to say, just to set up turn 7, that might be the only way they can do.
For this rat.
We're planning on trading our 2 captains, so maybe we go Captain Frothing then? Because he might trade the Water Ellie into the Frothing and makes our...
I like double captain better than Captain Frothing, because I like how they buff each other.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning at first. Yeah, just double captain. Ripped our Finley out. R.I.P.
Nobody can beat it. 3 mana 4/4. It's too strong.
Yeah.
Why are we trading?
Because it plays around Hot Corcoran.
Yeah, I like it. So we fireball.
True. Yeah, as long as we preserve the Water Elemental. We buy so much time, right?
Yep.
Man, Dirty Rat carried us this game. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it could have been disaster though, right?
No, it couldn't have. If we pulled Leroy, it's good. We had a Frostbolt.
Yeah.
Dirty Rat carried us this game. We were talking about that. We were saying it seems pretty big in the long run, but Liquid definitely agree. Using all of their little resources they can to preserve that Water Elemental, just knowing that freezing the Warrior's face is such a big deal.
Yeah, they just can't get rid of it at the moment. And Liquid have got nothing to do for 2 or 3 turns, but they're not dying anytime soon. They're on 25. They've got a taunt and a freeze up, and yeah, they've got Flame Strike next turn. Despite the fact their hand is devoid of anything interesting right now, they're going to get so much time to pick up stuff that they should just clean up this game fairly soon. And they could even be tempted to Bran into Book in a moment.
Wow, I mean, why not? Like, you can't exactly... Well, there's no point in saving Bran for Kazaka's value in this matchup, but getting an extra spell could be an extra Ice Block, an extra Frost Nova, Blizzard. There are a lot of possibilities for that. And, oh man, Luminosity having to armor up when they're wishing that they were tapping or at least using Steady Shot here.
And Bran into... Well, they've got the option to polymorph the 3/3 here, which lets them ping the 4/1 and just go face and freeze one more time. I feel like this is a better play. Giving up on the freeze plan because that's done its job. Wow. Another turn where the Water Ellie survives against all the odds.
It's just unfair. And again, we had this yesterday in this matchup. The Reno Mage doesn't actually need Reno. The Reno Mage doesn't even need Kazakus. They just need to have enough early game removal, enough taunts, enough freeze effects, and they can shut the warrior down.
So they actually seeing the funny side of that. It's not everyone seeing the funny side too, but it's easier to see the funny side when you're winning. And every card here looking really, really good. This Water Elemental is just not stopping. It's frozen every turn now. Since turn 4, they set it up a treat by getting the Doomsayer down the right turn, and there's just nothing here that Luminosity are going to be able to do.
So just to put that into perspective, we're talking 5 turns that Water Elemental has been sitting there.
Yeah.
That's longer than half of this game so far.
Yeah, it's just been controlling the face.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been an Arcanite Reaper sitting there for quite a while, doing nothing.
Yeah, it got an attack into... That's where the Water Ellie took the first 5.
Right.
Where they took that into their own hands, realised they were going to get frozen out of it if they weren't careful, so bumped into that Water Ellie to do the first 5 damage, and it's just never taken another point. There's been a taunt in the way or freezes. Yeah, and Delay's sick of waiting for Novia to make the perfect play here. Gives it up, and it goes to 3 games to 2 now in favour of Luminosity. And they're going to have to try and cue something in to counter this mage. And they don't have Druid or Priest available.
Yeah. Luminosity, I imagine right now, being pretty frustrated by the fact that Water Elemental is better at freezing than Frost Elemental is. You know, Frost Elemental gets to do it once with a battle cry, but Water Elemental freezes you over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, some pretty cold water that's coming into your face there. And, well, you're going to have to queue up either the Shaman, I think it's a Shaman or Rogue, Mage, Paladin, Warlock. So, yeah, they've got their Shaman available if they want it into the Mage.
You're right.
It's not ideal.
It's not something we've seen a lot of, but no, you're right. The Shaman is not ideal against Arena Mage at all. That being said, I don't think we've seen the Shaman yet.
No, the Shaman's available, the Mage is available, the Paladin is available, the Reno Lock is available. It'd be interesting to see what they decide to pull out here.
Because if the Shaman does turn out to be mid-Jade Shaman, I don't think it's quite as bad as aggro.
Sure, it just depends when they want to use this Shaman. Do they want to take a 50-50 or do they want to try and just get it to run through the rest of the lineup after the Mage has been taken down?
Right.
When you get beyond best of 5, best of 7, these last hero standing games become a lot more complicated in terms of saving counters for even, do you want to counter this now or does it do even better? And we're hearing that they're going to play phone tap, which means it's going to be Paladin.
Wow, that's interesting. So the thing is about the Shaman, like, yes, of course, they want to use it to destroy some decks later on. But if you never get past the Reno Mage, we're never going to get there in the first place. Paladin is a really interesting matchup versus Reno Mage, actually.
There's so much going on with the secrets, with the healing, with
with
you
the
know,
polymorphs.
the win conditions, the fireballs, and both sides have got like Tyrion and Ragnaros on one side, and on the other side, very few minions basically. So the mage will get a little bit of the board early, but it won't be relevant, and then the paladin will get some board, and that won't be relevant. And like you say, polymorph will be a big deal, and as will Finger.
Well, in an ideal world for the Reno mage, they just polymorph everything. They just play polymorph on the first Murloc that comes out, and then get Kazakus potion that polymorphs. Maybe for 5 mana they get 2 5-mana potions, or maybe they pray that there's no Murlocs until turn 10, and then they get a 10 mana mass polymorph. But it doesn't always work out that well for the mage.
Yeah, the paladin can play around that by only playing the Murlocs to die. And the mage doesn't pressure the paladin, so the paladin can kind of do what they like for quite a lot of the match.
Yeah.
But they can't entirely do what they like, because otherwise the mage will set up and get 4 spells. And every time you give the mage 4 Kazakus spells, bad things happen to you.
Right.
So
yeah,
lots of play to be played between 6 of the best players in the world. We've been saying that a lot, but seriously, these guys are seriously strong players.
Another thing to consider in this matchup is actually how Finger affects it, because often the first anything can happen will just about pop an ice block, then Reno will come down, and then if 2 Fingers are being spawned from the second anything can happen, it dramatically reduces the amount of damage that the combo does, meaning that they might actually not get lethal the second time.
Yeah, it's interesting. The Finger adds consistency but removes damage from the combo. The old combo is guaranteed to do either 30 or 32, depending what distribution of Murlocs you got on the second anything. Finger, as you say, does mess that up, but it messes it up at the cost of sometimes just getting you the combo so quickly.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't get it before turn 10, but you're just ready to go, whereas normally you're not even ready to go on turn 10 a lot of the time.
Yeah, it feels as though against the Reno Mage is one of those matchups where you can afford to take it nice and slow, because the Reno Mage just won't pressure you. A problem that the Paladin can have, though, against this type of deck is just the existence of Dirty Rat. It can get out of Doomsayer when they don't want it, or if the Paladin does decide this is not one of the games where Finger gets played, Finger could be summoned anyway.
Sure, and again, another thing, if Finger does, having the 3 Murlocs just on the board at the same time can just be enough. If it pulls double War Leader and the mage can't deal with it, that can just be game.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
combo or otherwise, we're just going to hit you for 15 or something every turn.
Once again, these are the 2 charities that you can donate to below. 2 great causes, one for helping those with disabilities, one for helping those in hospital. Both supply video games, which I'm sure everyone here will agree are very, very important, a very important part of growing up. So help out these kids, make sure that everyone gets to play some Hearthstone. Actually, maybe not Hearthstone.
Yeah, we don't want them fighting. But we'll get them some nice games, we promise.
Maybe some Mario.
Wow, just trying to de-stress, and you have a day of Hearthstone.
Oh boy.
That's how I de-stress all the time.
We're just waiting on the players. I think there was some kind of issue in the game, so one of the players is relogging. We're going to start very shortly. We're not just holding you hostage for as long as possible while we talk Stone It, we promise. We're going to jump
We know you love it, guys. We know you love us just waffling on about nothing in particular. While we're doing that, let's waffle on about the format in case you've joined us at the end of this fairly marathon-looking stream. It's best of 6, best of 11, last hero standing. Each player had 3 classes assigned to them, even though it's played as a team. 1 was banned for each player. Liquid messed up. They put their 3 best classes separated out, so they just kept getting all 3 banned. Luminosity put Rogue, Shaman, and Warrior together, which means they get to play their Shaman and they got to play their Warrior. So off to a little bit of a better start than Liquid, just based on Liquid basically admitting they just slipped up with the rules. And it hasn't hurt them so far, except it's given them a lot of stressful 6-5s.
Right. Slight advantage to basically anyone Liquid is against, because I think every other team did go with that strategy. They kind of clicked straight away. It's still a relatively new format. It's one we haven't seen much of, so you can't entirely blame Liquid for getting it wrong. But either way, we're jumping in to game number 6.
And there's a Medivh in the deck. It's a card we've not seen much of this weekend. It's played a little bit more in tournaments than it is on ladder, just because there's so many more value matchups, so much more control. Obviously on ladder, it's a little bit slow. You will see it in some matches, but it's far less used on ladder, I believe.
This doesn't feel like one of those matchups where Medivh helps too much, although
They've kept it in their mulligan.
Which says a lot. The thing is, you don't expect Murloc Paladin to pressure you too much, so I guess they mulligan for value. They just said, right, how do we win this game? What if we play Medivh turn 8 into Firelands Portal on turn 9? So a huge
Flame
board and they
Strike,
can't
all
deal
those
with it.
cards. Yeah, and that generates value for you. So let's see how that works out. I think Navir's grin says it all. It's, we've been a bit cheeky here. Let's see if we can get away with it.
Okay. So the question is, does Bluegill Warrior actually get played? I think no is the answer to that. How afraid of polymorph are you? Do you ever wait and just play Bluegill Warrior when you can trade it into something?
I think you like to trade it into things anyway. You're not winning this game by turn 8 unless you get Finger, then you might.
Absolutely.
But so there's just no hurry to get this extra 2 damage, especially when you can make a 1/1 anyway.
Yeah.
No reason for the Bluegill not to be used as a removal spell here.
Side effects.
So Liquid can actually start playing stuff now. They have a reasonable-ish curve. The fact that they can play Water Elemental next turn is really strong, but Finger being picked up off of Luminosity. Let's jump into their comms and find out whether they're going to plan on playing it.
Mm-hmm. Are we going to be coining the Finger? It seems strong, right?
Yeah, probably.
Do we ever save coin for any Fin? Because it's a slow matchup like that. It's gonna
the sooner you play Finja, the harder it is for they to kill it without it going off. Like sometimes, like Frostnova Blizzard Flame Strike chains can happen or something like that.
Okay, that's true. But if we coin it and they don't play anything, then
Kazakus is also an issue with Finja. You can like polymorph it from stealth.
Okay.
Or AoE it for 4.
I think we keep it. Yeah.
I don't think any Fin on 9 is key. For us to care about any Fin on 9, we have to like have it on 10 probably. And if we have that, we're doing good. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Probably just coin. Cards OP or something like that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take notes on Murlocs. Holy crap.
Time runs out on me.
I'm fine with. Yeah, you can do that, so I write them down or just say them.
Yeah.
Okay, so coin.
Well, let's take our card first, right? Are we bumping that mixtures?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we can trade our Finja into the water alley still.
Doing good work here. Let's coin Finja.
This bus. Oh, Nova, no. Oh, we don't have Nova, no! Oh, we can trade this in and play Doomsayer. Right? So we trade the 2/1 into Acolyte. And then we just bomb Doomsayer. So they have no way to kill stuff.
Yeah, that's probably the
So
best way.
they have to equality, right? They have to have equality. Yeah. That's a good risk to take.
They've got it, Show.
Yeah, maybe it's a good risk to take, but it's not one that's going to pay off. So it turns out Luminosity's strategy was actually play Finger as early as possible. And it looks like it's paying off. In fact, Luminosity doesn't need equality anymore because War Leader and Bluegill Warrior can go in, hit the Water Alley, and then Finger can finish the job. Or even Doomsayer, right?
Yeah, there hasn't been a Kazakus place. They're not scared of multiple polymorphs. They're also, if Blizzard gets chained into Flame Strike, then anything on 10 will be pretty absurd.
Yeah.
And they see it, they're going for it, they're going to do it this way around.
Yeah, and this is every Murloc now that's coming out.
board of stuff, and this is the way you can sometimes win without combo. This is a combo, a one-card combo of Finja, more damage, take down that water elemental, or go face. But I think you take down water ele.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Good luck, Team Liquid, dealing with this mess.
Well, Team Liquid don't actually have any way of dealing with this or freezing the board or anything. No Blizzard, no Flame Strike, no Nova in sight. And that Medivh Guardian that was kept in the opening hand doesn't look like it's going to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even going to get cast at this rate unless something... I mean, it needs to be Blizzard into Flame Strike, I think. Okay, so there's a polymorph. That will deal with one of the war leaders. That will shrink things down a bit. You could then Frostbolt the other one, or maybe not. That just completely mitigates all this damage. That's a great pickup, and could be a game saver.
Yeah, it's good. That's one less war leader that's going to be causing problems later. I don't know if it's enough, though. Liquid need to pick up Ice Block actually pretty soon, or at least a way of freezing the board before anything can happen comes down. That being said, we're still 4 turns off of that.
Yeah, we won't see the Ivory Knight, I shouldn't think, this turn. They'll try to challenge Liquid first to see if they've got Flame Strike or not, and then Ivory Knight on turn 7. If they don't see a Flame Strike, I think that's how this will turn out. But if they don't do that, the problem is they press the Hero Power button and do nothing. So maybe they feel, well, we've got to follow up on turn 8 with a Ragnaros, maybe we'll take the chance.
Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it just doesn't matter if Ivory Knight dies. It gets you a spell. It could even get them something they can play next turn, even something like Avenging Wrath or another Solemn Vigil.
I must move quickly.
Hammer of Justice even. There are cards that they can get that allow next turn to do something.
And they decided that in the end that they need to do that because the downside is not too bad, and the upside is, your board is pretty small, so the upside is you build up the board. We didn't see what was offered, but it's Blessing of...
Champions.
Blessed Champion.
Something like that.
Yeah. Does damage equal to the card that it picks up.
It's the double attack.
Or does it double attack? Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry, guys.
It's getting late, Neil. It's okay. It's getting late. Even later for Nyria.
Even later for Nyria. Ukraine, I think, is +4 from here, which makes it 6:30 a.m. We'll see the sun streaming through his curtains shortly, I should imagine.
Right, so Volcanic Potion is going to come down and clear away some of the minions, but it's not really enough. And that Ivory Knight is free to deal, well, possibly 8 damage to the face this turn if Luminosity wanted to go ahead and use that Blessed Champion.
Yeah, they're certainly thinking about it. They've got nothing else to do this turn, and their future turns are kind of clogged up. So playing it just for something to do, 5 mana, deal 4 damage, take away 2 mana from your opponent, doesn't seem that terrible.
No.
It doesn't seem that good either. Oh, is he considering playing the Blessed Champion and then healing up with Forbidden Healing on his Ivory Knight?
Wow, that's not actually a bad play. It creates an 8/4 out of nowhere. And we've already established that there's no Flame Strike because that Volcanic Potion turn was awful, unless Flame Strike's being saved for an Anything Can Happen, but that doesn't seem... Flame Strike doesn't even seem good enough to deal with Anything Can Happen.
Yeah, this is all about how do we lose this game? Do we need to save the... Do we need to deal the 8 damage, and do we need to save the Forbidden Healing for emergencies? They're actually just splitting the difference here, developing the weapon, saving the Blessed Champion for later, and kind of making a similar play, setting up lethal. And it's a surprise lethal this way around. The opponents may think, well, we're safe, we won't Reno here.
Right.
That's the plan, is to surprise kill them so they don't play Reno.
So let's jump in with Liquid and see what they do decide to do.
Yeah, we just Medivh, right?
Medivh, just Medivh. If we die, we die. Like, I don't know. We can always... I don't know. Could have Brand Dirty ratted out, like, the Doomsayer.
Nah, it's not worth it. I think we should do it when they play, like, sack at anything.
They got damage.
Oh, they run Blessing of Kings. What?
That's from Ivory Knights.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, we're gonna lose anyways.
Yeah.
Got, like, the nuts.
They had, like, really small outs. Yeah, the nuts.
So what do we have against us?
well, it seems like all hope was lost for Team Liquid anyway. And they're right, like Blessing of Kings was another card that would have dealt the damage. I'm sure there were more as well. Things were looking really bad for Liquid as it was.
Really good play though. Luminosity there were going the maths play to get the absolute most out of your play is to play the Blessed Champion and heal it up, do 8 this turn and 8 that turn. If that was a rogue deck, that's what they would have done. However, they realise the value in disguise. They know that Paladin has very, very little burst. They know that Liquid know this. And so they set up a lethal that encouraged no Reno Jackson. They're probably going to win anyway, but they managed to set up a lethal situation that Liquid felt obliged to ignore.
Yeah.
And Liquid ignored it, and Luminosity took down the win. Really nice subtlety there.
That's one of the bad things about Medivh the Guardian. It's that, it can be a great card. It can pick up a lot of value, but unfortunately, it's an 8-mana minion that doesn't do anything the moment it hits the board.
Right. I mean, minions in general don't do that much when they're big and clunky like that. So
yeah, like it's not Ragnaros, is it?
Right.
At the end of the day, Liquid used up that incredibly important turn and just put a 7/7 on the board, and that's all they did.
Yeah, and they just said, if you've got lethal, you've got it. I think it was the right play, but it was also great play by Luminosity to know they could make Liquid make that play because they know, that Liquid are good. And so next up is going to be the Warlock into this Paladin deck, and if this goes down, things are going to start looking a bit bleak.
Yeah, I mean it's still very close. Like both teams are back and forthing, like you'd expect them to. But the fact that the mage is out feels like a big deal because we established earlier that there were no real counters for the mage because they've been banned. Now the mage has been eliminated from Team Liquid. What do they have left that's going to streak?
Okay, so their Druid can go through Mage, it can go through Paladin, it can go through Warlock. Oh, it can't go through Paladin. It can go through Mage, it can go through Warlock.
Right. Yeah.
How does it beat Shaman or Paladin? I don't know if it does. So they're avoiding the Paladin, the Warlock needs to beat this Paladin. And then it gets interesting because Luminosity will want to make sure that Druid doesn't just get free reign against the 2 decks it can beat.
Uh-huh.
And so it may come down to whether the Shaman can beat the Warlock.
Okay, and that is a matchup that still seems Warlock favored, depending on exactly which type of Shaman it is. I assume it would be aggro Shaman.
I'm not sure if we've even seen it. A lot of people have been banning Shaman for Shaman Stone being one of the hardest things to play in all of Hearthstone because you never get to play it in tournaments because everyone bans Shaman.
I feel like we've seen one all weekend.
Like, yeah, we haven't seen many. We have seen some Shaman, but we've seen... This is the 7th best of 11 now, and I don't think we've seen more than maybe... I think 1's the right number. It might be 2.
Yeah. Either way, not much. And in a format where you're allowed to take 3 bans, there's not many classes that you'd want to ban over Shaman, except Rogue, according to Liquid.
Except Rogue, according to Liquid, and I think... Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right, well, let's see if this Reno lock can put a stop to the Murloc Paladin as we queue into game number 7.
All right, so they've got their early curve, they've got the Imp Gang boss, that's absolutely essential always when you're trying to get going. Reno on the other side, Finger is there.
Yeah, we got Finger. That seems like I think it even seems like a keep. Maybe not so much when you're off the coin, but Finger's just so good in these matchups.
I feel like most people don't like this as the Warlock, but I also feel like Nivea does. They put in a lot of stuff in the other day. They stole a Finger, Sylvanas into PO, stole a Finger, and I think Nivea may know a lot more about this matchup than most people.
Okay.
I'm not sure how it happens to a person, but yeah, let's jump in.
Let's jump in and get some insight from him.
Hey, your acolytes.
They might go hold for it. Because, I
don't think they'll hold it.
I wonder.
The thing is, we don't play big minion. We don't play big minion on turns 3. We play like a garbage minion.
Then it makes even more sense to play it, you're right. Like, you never hold back on acolytes.
Oh, nice.
Speak to me.
Just don't say it.
Yep. All part of the plan.
All right. Screen share back. I still don't see anything.
I don't see anything.
Back on.
Okay. So we have 3 options. I like equipping True Silver. What do you like, Sully?
I don't see the other options.
It'd just be hero power. But
What's the third option?
uh,
Okay, let's equip
Murloc.
True Silver and put 2 damage into his face.
yeah, let's do that. We could just kill the Murloc, you know. Give him some charity.
Let's
So those 3 options quickly became 2 options, which quickly became 1 option.
Right, this is something that I'm not sure if it's a reference to it or not, but in backgammon, when you play backgammon, you are always taught when you're learning, do not make your move until you've seen 3 different moves.
Okay.
And so they did find choices there. They did find the throw the Murloc away choice, hero power, make True Silver. And when you, sometimes the key to being good isn't realizing that a play is good, it's realizing the play exists at all. So when someone says, here's your 3 choices, it's much easier to boil it down into this is the best one. And sometimes you just overlook something obvious, like the Murloc play wasn't obvious there. Just put it there, let it blow up. It's actually something worth considering. And sometimes it will be obvious when someone says, have you thought about this? You go, oh no, I haven't thought about that. That is the right play.
The thing is, that was obviously the 3rd play that they were talking about, but they didn't actually vocalize that. And I guess that's because after acknowledging that that's a possible play, they decided it's not good enough, and decided that very quickly.
Yeah.
It was just very obvious after just a little bit of thought that True Silver Champion was the way to go. Now Finger's come down, though. This game could very dramatically swing in Luminosity's favor.
Yeah, there wasn't also, just to point out, there were 2 options when you play the True Silver as well. 2, there is an option of just keeping of using a True Silver charge because of Swampoos as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But now Thorassan comes down, but that doesn't stop the Finger. So there's going to be an onslaught of Murlocs next turn, and an extra Murloc War Leader on top of that, if that's what Luminosity want to do. Seems good.
It does indeed seem good. Either way, whatever this fetches is going to be fine. Have we seen a bluegill?
Let me think.
I feel like my notes are not in touch with reality right now.
I don't think we have.
I don't think we have either.
I'm going to wait and see what he gets from his other Murloc. The chances are, well, no, he's definitely going to have a way of dealing with this Thorassan one way or another, because there's going to be at least 1 bluegill here. There's 2. I don't see a world in which War Leader doesn't come down now and that the bluegills don't trade in. There's also the mana to play Solemn Vigil.
Right, if you put in both bluegills, which I think you do get that Solemn Vigil as well.
Actually,
It doesn't matter either way, so it's fine.
But the question is now, what can Phonetap spend the rest of his mana on? And it looks like it's just a hero power.
Yeah, keeping up with cards versus Warlock seems good.
And now, how do Liquid deal with this Murloc War Leader and this Finger? Hellfire only deals with 1. Shadow Flame isn't even possible this turn.
Yeah, next turn. I mean, sure. Next turn, now you're just playing Ivory Knight because you can, because you've got 2 8-drops in your hand. And keep the hate coming and keep looking for the inevitable looking combo at this point. But we have seen Liquid wriggle out of this before.
We have. There's no anything can happen actually in Luminosity's hand at the moment. There's still no anything can happen even after this. And at least Liquid are going to know that there wasn't an anything taken this time, because it is going to be healing for 1, 3, or 4, and Liquid will be able to see that. Ali Estraza was talking in the previous series about how frustrating it was not knowing what Ivory Knight took when it was played on full health. So at least that's something. Liquid can rest easy knowing that there's not 3 anything can happen just yet.
Seal of Champions would be an interesting pick because that would represent a divine favour. And yeah, that's what I've gone with, as well as a surprise 3 damage. It's not the first card that Luminosity, that Liquid will think of.
Now, what do they do this turn? Jiraxxus is a possibility next turn, although there's still a lot of damage on the board. You kind of want to do something about that first.
So difficult. So many choices, but they're all looking kind of bad. They really need to get that Kazakus or the rest of this combo.
I
mean, can they formulate a plan where you just 7 some turns? I don't know how you do about it, but just try and find a plan where you force a little bit of damage in and then just hope to combo them down.
Okay. It's so difficult when the Paladin still has 27 health, though.
Yeah, and a deck full of healing that they haven't needed.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's just refreshment vendor and hope for the best at this stage. It's going to tap first. Yeah, and play the vendor.
Yeah. Not looking much fun right now for Team. They're going to get their revenge. They've got a lot of work to be done. And they've just got a wealth of decisions to make here.
I assume that Tyrion is the most likely to come down here.
I mean, Tyrion just says twisting nether. Nope.
Let me think.
Because you hit your opponent for if you play Tyrion, you just go all face.
Wow, hang on a second. Is there another Murloc still in the deck? I think there's another War Leader.
Yep, I think there is.
Oh my goodness.
So they're actually going to dig that out and protect their Finger, which will become, what, a 7-3 or whatever it becomes?
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Becoming harder.
7-2, I think. Oh boy. Alright, let's join Liquid as they work out what they're going to do about this board. Is this a Jiraxxus turn, or do they have to play Twisting Nether?
Living on a prayer.
So we just...
It was very good there. So we could go trying to draw towards this Anyfin, like Vigil, Wicker Flame. If we just jam Tyrion, it's pretty weak to Sylvanas stuff.
PO, yeah. Yeah, Sylvanas PO gets Tyrion, Rag loses to Siphon, or...
Yeah, I like
Crystal as well.
Vigil.
I do too.
Getting closer to our Anyfin.
Yeah, it's really good. It does 12. Yeah, that guy sets up for Tyrion.
I like him. Yeah, this pass.
Yeah, Anything is lethal.
Yeah,
Maybe
just
we don't
Jiraxxus.
Yeah, Anything isn't lethal actually. It's
Jiraxxus Coil trades.
Jiraxxus coil hit. I mean, we lose to anything, right? They have lethal.
no, we survived that, right?
No, they have
it
12.
was 12. We die to it. Just
Oh yeah, they have
doesn't
three
matter.
silver. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the best bet. If they don't have it, we can stabilize.
Yeah. Coil hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will be in the same spot if we wait. Eventually, we have to play it.
A prime example of the card that beats us doesn't exist there from Liquid.
Liquid just know this matchup so well. It's fantastic play.
We can't beat anything anyway, pretend they don't have it, make the best possible play if they don't, and now we can stabilize.
Let me.
Yeah, the stabilization is a thing they can do. However, I feel that if Luminosity keep a weapon equipped at all times, so they're always representing 16 damage, 12 from the Anyfin plus the 4 in hand, these equalities and Pyromancers and Consecrates are going to keep the Jiraxxus occupied for enough time.
Right.
You know, that deck's getting pretty thin. They're going to draw on Anyfin sooner rather than...
Yeah. Liquid does have a number of taunts in hand ready to go. There's the Sunfury Protector. There's the Faceless Shambler. which are going to be able to tot up these 6/6, but it's not good enough against Pyromancer Equality. It's not good enough against Equality Consecration. And you're right, eventually anything can happen is going to get picked up and just win the game.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Jiraxis needs to basically, again, just whittle this life total down to 20 and pick up Power Overwhelming. They have the Faceless somewhere, I think. Yeah, there it is, and the Leroy. So they can do 20 to turn as soon as they pick up that Power Overwhelming. So they've definitely got something to fight for here.
Right.
And of course, now they know there's no anything in hand. So every single turn they can take a calculated gamble if they want to.
True. I guess that's sort of their clock now. They're like, we just keep alive, we lose when they pick up anything, but we win before they pick up anything if we can get there.
Yeah.
And as we can see from how much Phone Tap has in his hand that will just put a stop to Jiraxis' minions, I don't think the Liquid are going to get there.
Just depends how few cards Luminosity. I don't think we've seen a Swampoos this game, so I don't think we'll even see this preemptive hit for 4 and re-weaponing, because that weapon gets eaten, bad things happen. Unless they're going to go with Tyrion, but they've already expressed their concern that Tyrion probably shouldn't be played because it just gives your opponent a chance to get Sylvanas, which makes a bit of a mess of your life. They actually are going to read through Silver, presumably because Tyrion has another out, and it forces healing to happen, I guess.
Yeah, sure. It's just this this strategy of staying alive, staying as healthy as possible until that anything comes up. It's becoming more and more difficult to see how Liquid ever survive and anything can happen.
Yeah, and double consecration is actually relevant when your maximum total is 15 as well.
Right. It's a free 4 damage plus probably a board clear.
Yeah, Liquid failing to pick up Kazakus at any point has been a real problem for them. Kazakus would be really nice now just to gain 10 armor and put yourself a little bit of breathing room.
Even this board is lethal right now for Luminosity.
Yeah, they're just putting a lethal on board over and over now.
Liquid are really on the back foot. Just clawing at everything they can to stay in this game, to somehow deal some damage to Luminosity, and it just doesn't seem to be happening.
Yeah, they're actually going to double heal. Again, knowing that they're probably safe until the anything comes. But that pack is getting smaller and smaller. It is going to be picked up very, very soon. Eventually it becomes impossible not to pick it up. There's probably more card draw there as well. There it is.
There
and
it is.
Luminosity are taking a 5-2 lead in this grand final of this long weekend of best of 11s. Luminosity put themselves on match point. They're going to have Paladin, and it's going to have to beat one of Druid, Warlock. Oh no, it's going to have to beat the Druid.
It's just the Druid, you're right.
Druid has to go through Mage, Warlock, Paladin, and Shaman.
Well, this is potentially it then. Luminosity need to win one more game with this Murloc Paladin, and if they fail to win this game with Murloc Paladin, they still have 3 more chances.
But Team Liquid have been 5-2 and 5-3 down in their other 2 matches, and they've won them both. So, and one or two of those have had some really dodgy-looking matchups as well. So I'm not going to rule them out just yet, but we do have to say that Luminosity are in a fantastic position here.
Yeah, winning 4 games in a row with Druids does feel like a tall order.
All right, so it can beat Mage, it can beat Warlock.
Yep.
So it only has to get lucky against Paladin and against Shaman. But wow, does it have to get lucky against those 2?
Get lucky against Shaman?
Yeah, and it has to get lucky against Paladin, and it has to not lose the 2 matches.
Yeah. And
which is always...
even favoured matchups are only really like 60-40.
Right, they're favoured matchups, they're not free. So
maybe in the case of the Mage it's 70-30, but still it's not 100 by any means. And how many 70-30s or how many 60-40s do you realistically win in a row?
Yeah, I mean, 2 70% chances is actually only 49% chance of winning both.
Right.
So you're automatically underdog if you're 70-30 twice. Let's give them that for the Mage and the Warlock. So they're only 50-50 to beat the Mage and the Warlock if you give them, really good percentages. And then they've got to beat, I said Mage and Warlock. I meant to say Mage and Warlock. Shaman and Paladin as well. are very, very unlikely to win this final. But they've been very, very unlikely before. They're determined to win this thing. Let's see if they can pull it through with a fairly regular-looking Jade Druid. I seem to remember there were 2 mulch, but that could be incorrect.
You think the Paladin is favoured against the Druid then?
Yeah, I think it is. I'm not sure. I haven't seen the matchup very much, if I'm honest, but it's... The Druid gives the Paladin the time it needs to establish stuff, is how I feel about it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Jades are just overwhelming enough that they can finish the Paladin off, but...
Feels like a tough call. I agree. It feels like the Paladin should be favoured, but it's one of those games where if the Jades get too big, I mean, yeah, okay, there's an Aldor, there's 2 Pyro equalities, but then what?
Anything you... Because you couldn't stop my stuff.
And they win the game, but
because you gave me 10 turns while you were making your 7/7s. I don't know. That's my instinct, is that the Paladin should be favoured in this matchup.
I think this is one of those matchups where an early Finger, which we can see PhoneTap has in his hand as we jump into turn 3, an early Finger is really relevant here.
Yeah, as is an early Wild Growth and other such stuff, and that is looking good. But you're right, the early Finger is going to be... I feel that the Druid hand's pretty good here. Can we have a listen to Team Liquid, maybe?
Yeah, let's go for it.
And then go Acid Drake into True Silver. I mean, if you go War now,
We
you
could
only
just
get
Wild
raked
Growth
by...
Hero Power into...
We get destroyed by Aldor, right?
Yeah, but...
No,
you...
I mean, we could go for Wild Growth Hero Power into Feral Rage. Go in Feral Rage.
Is that even good, though? Like, do we even need the armor, is what I'm asking? Armor's
Probably
relevant,
not.
right?
Yeah,
should just
it's
get
kind of
Feral Rage
irrelevant.
out.
Yeah, Feral Rage, go in Wild Growth is fine.
Yeah.
I want to deny him draw.
It's kind of good. They will go naked through Silver. Then we don't. Then we just go War.
Yeah. Also, if we draw like Nourish, we can always just wait and go Faintful Innervate Nourish or something. Then that's...
Yeah, that is.
That's good too.
Some very good Barnes trades here. What do we get? What do we get?
Oh my god, full heal.
Whoa! Plus 8 health.
Up to 30, boys.
Significant.
We go with Drake.
Yeah.
Okay.
They play True Silver off curve. That's fine.
Yeah, sure. But they heal.
Does it heal matter?
that it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, for sure. We don't want to go Jade's just so bad here.
Yeah. Then the heal can matter because he can heal the minion.
So while Liquid are questioning the relevance of this Ragnarosing healing for 0, let's talk about what else is going on here. We've got True Silver Champion, nice pickup off the top there, can deal with Azure Drake, but Finger seems so strong.
Yeah, Finger does seem really good. It just shuts down so much on the potential board, and trading in your Barnes and a 1/1 doesn't seem that much of a punishment. And then you can use your hands to to back up your Finger next turn. Feels good, and that's what they're going to go for.
I think some of the really relevant things about Finger that people didn't realize before the set came out is firstly that even if Finger dies making the attack, it still summons the Murloc and sometimes gets buffed out of being dead. And secondly, it's just so easy to set up a kill with Finger, whether it's with True Silver Champion hit first.
Yeah.
Like even Ancient of War comes down here. Like it's possible for Finger to set up a kill. Maybe not this turn, but within the next few turns it will happen. And Dr. Zoom has something to say.
Defense from Dr. Zoom. Dr. Zoom's been watching way too much America, I think, in recent times.
Earlier on, Team Liquid correctly identified that Ancient of War gets destroyed by Outdoor Peacekeeper, and now about 4 turns later, that's happening.
Yeah, and also relevant is they just haven't made Jades at all, unless we missed one on turn 1. We came into the game a couple of turns late, but their Jades are at least tiny and possibly 0 right now. And if they're going to start putting pressure on, they're going to need to start making those Jades very soon. Auctioneer Innovate may have something to say about that. It may allow them to get into it that way.
Yeah, it's gonna let Liquid make a start, but is it good enough? A lot of these Druid lists at the moment are only running one Gadgetzan Auctioneer. Apparently, two is considered greedy. So, if the Auctioneer gets used up now on turn 8, where they're only really getting value from Innovate and I guess maybe Swipe, I don't know how good it feels.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good, but does anything feel good here? You probably end up having to play as a Drake here. As a Drake, Innovate, Swipe just feels rough, but it does mean they only get one card from the Acolyte, and it does deal with a 3/3.
Yeah,
Still
I don't think
feels rough.
I don't think there's any way of defending from the Finger this turn. There's so much in Phone Tap's hand that just gets through that Ancient of War.
Yeah, if you can't see the hand, maybe that makes the Azure Drake play a little bit appealing. Take 4 attack off the board right now. And it's just seems like a terrifying use of Innovate, Swipe when you're hoping to get some Auctioneer. So what else can they find here? They could just play Fandral into Swipe. They could just play none of it's done. It's just
Spirit. Oh, that's the play they're going for. And this,
yeah.
I guess they're just hoping that somehow the Ancient of War survives. But oh my goodness, this hand just got disgusting. Finger is going to get a buff. Another Murloc. All 4 Murlocs are going to appear this turn.
Yeah, I don't like it when Murlocs just appear like that unless they're around like the Yule log, something like that.
You thought anything can happen was bad, but Luminosity with their Finger are basically playing a turn 7 anything can happen where all 4 Murlocs get summoned.
Any Finger can happen.
And it's only costing them 5 mana.
It doesn't seem fair right now. That's interesting thing about this deck is it often doesn't seem fair, and yet it still hasn't really made it into the ladder meta because there are just decks that take it apart.
Yeah, because there are some decks that are a little bit too fast, like Pirate Warrior and Shaman being the ones that come to mind.
Oh, I don't think. Oh, they're making sure they don't draw their card from the Acolyte first, okay, because they don't want to draw the Murlocs. And then they'll kill the 1/1.
Now they can draw with the Acolyte.
Yeah, no, everything. Yeah, this is so much better.
Lugo can just do its thing. And now they're just kind of patiently waiting to draw anything can happen. Not even needing to be patient. There's some more card draw. There's some more card draw. If they have time to play it quickly. Nope. Oh, not quite.
Yeah, not much going on here, though. Luminosity going to get a pretty decent swipe as a gesture of defiance. There is no anything in hand, so Luminosity going to have to wait just a little bit longer for this. And
that's a pretty strong swipe from Liquid there.
It's a pretty strong swipe. Takes down a lot of this Murloc nonsense. And that Murloc nonsense is going to go away for now, but it'll be back soon enough.
Let's join Luminosity for a moment as they get really close to winning this game.
You're fine. That's my instinct. We could also go True Silver, Solemn Vigil, but I like getting board down versus them. We just need to live out till we can make board with our Anyfins.
Well, we need to draw Anyfin. Do you think we're going to be able to Anyfin next turn if we go for the Wicker Flame? Or do you think we're going to be able to Solemn Vigil?
9 mana next turn, yeah.
Yeah. But we'll have time to Solemn Vigil, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd been nice to get that earlier, but EU lag.
Yeah, EU or sir.
Phone tap lag.
Yeah, we had all the
If we play Solemn Vigil over Wickerbow, we could rag next turn, but we probably don't even want to rag. Like, a lot of times we want to Aldo or something. Or...
we want to Aldo or something. Yeah. Yes.
I think we just merged playing Jade Spirit.
Yeah, it seems fine.
Yeah, and he has a bigger auctioneer too. Yeah, that's much better.
Just nourish.
I mean, I don't know how to win in this.
Ooh, doubler. I think Jade Blossom into Ping is better.
Is it?
We need to get rid of this shield for next turn.
I mean, if you play, if you play
Jade
if you play the Jade Spirit, we can play all Jade Blossom next.
Yeah, they cycle themselves.
We can even the roots.
6. No, we have 2. We have extra mana.
Oh yeah, we are.
We're pretty dead. We're pretty dead.
Yeah, it's safe to say that Team Liquid is a little bit all over the place there. Dog seems to think that they're dead, and just generally, they're starting to make disagreements, as I think they're just losing hope for this tournament.
Yeah, they're fine. Not only are they 5-2 down yet again, but they're in a situation where they know that there's a ticking time bomb in those anythings. They're half expecting it to be there already. Their Jade's on 2. They've used their brand. They've used something. No, they've used their Fandral.
Yeah.
Their only hope's going to be auctioneer shenanigans, but their stuff's just too small to set up a threat right now. So plenty of time for Luminosity, and they're not going to need much time. Any second now, they are going to draw out anything, and it will be the end of the game. But what can Liquid possibly do? Bran into Behemoth would be a thing if they had either card in their hand. Auctioneer into Shuffle Jade, play Jade, play Jade, play Jade.
There's just so much card draw in this Paladin deck. It's so good at cycling. And again, PhoneTap's actually been a little bit unlucky in the fact that we're quite late into the day here, and there's still no anything can happen. But eventually, it will come. Liquid are getting this crazy Gadgetzan auctioneer turn here.
They're making some Jades to at least set up a chance that if they get one more good turn, maybe, just maybe, they can squeak something out of this. And played like a true Rogue player this turn. Just keeping things coming, seeing them, making a play. Not spending too long on your decisions. Not because of any giving up or anything like that. Just to make sure you get the absolute, the time needed to get your turn off.
Well, they didn't get to play their rogues, so it had to happen eventually. Unfortunately for Liquid, Luminosity do have 2 Consecrations, 1 Equality, and 1 Pyromancer. They're able to clear all of this board without even using up the Equality if they want to.
Right, and they will really want to hold on to that Equality as long as... Because if things do happen to take another 3 or 4 more turns through quirks of fate, they could have a board of 6, 6, 7, 7, 8 basically down at some point in the future. So they'll just want to make sure they can deal with that should it come up.
And this seems like a great way of doing it. Not only are you dealing 4 damage to the face there, all the minions go face, the weapon probably goes face, and you've still got the cheapest board clear in the deck available to you in your hand with a quality Pyromancer. Druid's down to 11 health, and anything might not even be necessary this game.
Yeah, I think it probably will, just because there is enough garbage in the Liquid deck to sort of taunts and messing around and generally not dying. It's just not getting anywhere fast, but they are slowly but surely developing a board. The Behemoth now, they're going to go with Aya first. I think this makes sense because then they can defend her if she, defend what she makes with the Behemoth. Rather than play the Behemoth, get it taken down, then play Aya behind it. I like this a lot better.
Yeah, Aya seems pretty dead. The Liquid are once again at the point where anything is just going to kill them anyway. So Aya seems pretty good. If it dies, Jade comes back. It's difficult to put this minion at bay. There is an outdoor Peacekeeper, but there's still a Jade Golem that needs to be dealt with as well. It's kind of awkward for PhoneTap, who still hasn't picked up anything can happen. You could say that's the sign of a good Murloc Paladin player, not picking up the 10 drops too early, but time's getting on. You do need the 10 mana card eventually.
Yeah, I think we'll see the Ivory Knight for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Board, you can Eldor down one of these 2 minions, just keep them small, and you have an extra chance of drawing the card you're trying to pick up to win the game.
There it is.
There it is. And just going to make sure they think about it for a moment, and now they're going to set up as much as possible for the next turn. It's not quite over. We can see the Behemoth that was kept back last turn will come down as a taunt. They don't know it's a 10 mana card because only 4 health was gained, so Liquid aren't aware that it's in hand. Although the speed at which it was picked might tip them off. Teams have been a little bit sloppy with roping. They're roping now, but teams have been a little bit sloppy in the last game and a half as the night has worn on with taking all of their time up.
That's a pretty good point there. Like picking up Ivory Knight, picking up anything can happen from Ivory Knight instantly is definitely a very clear sign that there was something there that all 3 of Luminosity players agreed on.
Right.
Very, very, very fast. I think it's almost a 100% indication for Team Liquid that is anything can happen. And the question is, can they survive this turn? I think they actually can.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite over yet. But Can they survive and generate enough pressure? It's getting there. It is getting there. There's 8 damage in hand of charge, don't forget, from these Druid of the Claws, as well as 2 4/6 taunts instead if they wanted that way around. They could definitely win this game.
Wouldn't Savage Roar be strong for Team Liquid right now?
I think what would be strong here is Pyro Equality and then drop a Doomsayer.
Yeah, I like that a lot. It's kind of awkward because the Jade Golem that gets summoned by Aya is now 7/7. It does just flatten the Doomsayer, but at the same time, as Luminosity, you're not really bothered. Anything can happen.
True though. No,
Anything can happen is an option. Maybe it's actually Pyro Equality Ivory Knight.
That's going to be anything.
I guess Finn just survives regardless.
This is just lethal and I've missed it. No, not quite. Yeah, my play there was poor because of the 7/7 does just take out the Doomsayer. That's not fun. But this play sets up an auto lethal with a second anything.
Right.
And, you know, it gives a board that is also threatening lethal. So it
Actually,
forces them to have stuff.
Yeah, I doubt this ever comes up, but if both War Leaders survive this turn, then Luminosity can actually play. Like, say both Druid of the Claws were played, and for some reason Liquid just went face.
Yeah.
All of the Murlocs would survive Pyro Equality. They'd all have 1 health remaining.
Right, yeah.
Each other's healths.
Which is disgusting.
It's actually a mechanic that could come into play here. Though I don't see how Team Liquid would justify not trading.
Yep. They found a way to make some big old stuff here. Finch is kind of useless. All the Murlocs have already been used, I think.
Yeah, they have. They are big Jade Golems, but
there we go.
Nothing that Phone Tab can't deal with, and there's the anything can happen.
Luminosity will just double check their maths.
Yeah, they've got to, of course, check this, but the Finja they've got on the board gets buffed several times. They get at least 2 Blue Warriors. Wow.
Dr. Zoom has got something to say about it as well. Taking down $5,000 for 2 afternoons' work. Delay, Muzzy, and Phone Tap. They don't even need the likes of, you know, they've got Frozen not here today. They've got Chucky not here today. Luminosity, an absolute powerhouse of team play at the moment. They beat Liquid in ASL. They've beaten them again here in this final, and they will be delighted with that. And they've won this tournament by winning 6-2, 6-2. Sounds like a tennis match, and 6-4 at this point.
Wow.
That's better than Federer did against Nadal. Awesome play there from Luminosity.
Yeah, I mean, given how many of our series have gone to the final game, the fact that none of Luminosity's games went to the final one shows that their lineup was very, very good. They knew exactly which decks to play and when. What an incredible win from a great team.
Yeah, Liquid punished for their mistake in the setups there. And hopefully we are going to have an interview of some sort with Luminosity as soon as exactly what's going on.
Yeah, I think we've actually got all 3 of them possibly in this channel. Luminosity, do we have you?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Congratulations, guys. Nice work.
Thanks.
Any point in the whole tournament where you felt you might go out? The only spot I can think of is when you were 3-1 down to Isuba.
Yeah, we were behind at that moment, but like our lineup was pretty good against them, right?
We had that tempo mage in the backhand. Deck's good.
Yeah, the mage just tore through at that point, and obviously, you felt you was under control even at that point in that match, yeah.
We didn't even get to see the Temper Mage in that last series. Like, that was such an impressive win. Do you think there's a reason in particular that you were able to take these games so easily? Because there wasn't, apart from that rough start in the game against Isuba, like Lorenzo said, there wasn't actually a series that went close to the wire for you. You never ended up in the final game.
I think we consistently out-prepared our opponents. Like in the last match, we correctly anticipated what they first picked. We correctly anticipated their bans. I think our lineup was built better for the format. I think we just did a better job preparing as a team for the tournament.
Yeah, Novi actually admitted that he botched the lineups there. We'd sort of guessed at it already. You said, like, look at it, but Novi basically admitted after the second round, it's like, yeah, I messed up. I'd forgotten kind of how that was going to work out.
Right. So all down to preparation?
Yeah, pretty much like in the final series, we kind of had it planned out like after the first game when we had our hunter go into their paladin, we're fine queuing hunter first, and they've had a pattern prior. So if we get this win, we pretty much had like the rest of the matches playing out. We're gonna know what's gonna beat what's gonna beat what, and and then in the middle there's some opportunities to draw Finja on 5, right?
Seems nice when that happens. How are you guys finding rotating in and out? You've obviously got 5 incredibly powerful players that I can name on your team, and probably somebody that I've missed as well. So is it hard work playing with 3 of you out of 5 each time?
I don't find it difficult to play. I don't know. Zlay has more experience than that because he's playing in the Trinity series. What do you think, Zlay?
No, it's a good experience. I enjoy playing with a variety of people. You get more perspectives, more opinions. It makes you a better player.
And have you found that your casting has helped you organise team communication? Like you're learning to sort of talk to the other players a bit?
I don't know how much casting helps with team communication, but I do think it helps just to force me to pay more attention to other tournaments and really look at them in depth. For instance, part of the reason we've been playing Tempo Mage is I casted some tournament games where Tempo Mage was played, and I was impressed.
Right. The thing with communication is you can't really influence. You just need to play with more people. You need to play a long time with them. You can figure out their cues, like when they want to speak, when you want to speak, like who speaks the most, see their input first, and then bring yours in. But the communication thing is just like playing with them a lot, practicing with them a lot.
Obviously, your communication was fantastic, or you wouldn't be here right now. But did you guys, as a 3, did you practice a lot together before this tournament started, just to make sure that you kind of had a strategy for how you communicate with each other?
Not really. Like I've played with Zlay in the past, and we've been in calls in the past, so pretty comfortable there speaking with him.
And how do you feel this sets you up going forward for other leagues? And Luminosity going to take everything down this year? You confident?
We're crushing.
Yeah, we've been winning all month, right? It's good stuff.
Awesome to see it, guys. Be a bit easier to sell you guys now. You guys have had time, and I hope 2017 is really, really good to you.
Yeah, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I believe that we are finished. There's no more games left. So one more time, don't forget to donate to the 2 wonderful charities that we're representing here in the Battle of the Best tournament. But for now, Neil, any last words?
Just, wow, what a lot of Hearthstone that was. If you missed any of it at all, how weren't here for the nearly 24 hours of Hearthstone over 2 days that's going to be out there on the VODs. Go check out your favourite teams. Go have a look through the decks from F2K. Some of those were very interesting, and obviously watch the major matches and see how it went on. Been great to be here. And Dan, take it away, man.